just like all right. So we live, right? Just like that. That's how we gonna start. Just like that. Hey,
that's not crazy. That's without saying. He has no other competition. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. All right. So, hey, everybody, welcome to Old School Knicks. I'm your main man, Uncle Freezy, and I'm joined by the creator and producer and co-host of the joint Old School Knicks. I'm joined by Anthony D, and y'all know he is so smooth that he doesn't require a chaser. Y'all already know how this goes. Y'all know how when something be so strong and so smooth at the same time, it don't need no chaser. You know you got a quality product.
I always like a chaser, especially with that brown juice.
Yeah, you talking about for longevity, so you can keep the party going for a long time.
Right? Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right? How you doing today?
We doing good. Good morning, Uncle Freezy. Good morning to Nick Nation. Those out there with us in the chat and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Another Sunday, we here. Old school Sunday. We in the building like how we supposed to be.
It's like how we supposed to be.
Like how we supposed to be.
All right. Hey, so chat, just for some background about the conversation that y'all caught like doing. So we just wrapped up New School Knicks. So shout out to Mr. Rivera, Greeny from LI, and the People's Champ, King Ant G. They did a quality show this morning, New School Knicks. They threw shots at Old School Knicks. But what else is new? You know what I'm saying? What else is new? I'm gonna have to put them kids on punishment. You know, I had to put them kids on restriction. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So here's the thing. You just mentioned, and I want to get into the background of the conversation that we just started, right? Don't want to do anything wild and out of place, but I have to do something wild and out of place, right? So here's the thing. When talking to Anthony D this morning, he wanted to help celebrate Pat Ewing's birthday and John Stark, celebrate their birthdays and such this month, you know, show them a little love. And I asked him, is Patrick Ewing the greatest Georgetown Hoya of all time?
It's not even worth repeating. It's not even worth repeating. You know what I mean? It's one of those questions that, how is that even a question?
Okay.
The Big East is started on Ewing's back.
Okay.
Nobody else has come since him at that school and come close to the accomplishments.
Okay.
At that school.
Okay. I beg to differ.
He is the reason why the NBA created an NBA lottery.
Understood.
He's the reason why Dave DeBusschere almost had a heart attack. You know, why the Kansas City Kings at that time was going to have a parade in his honor if they drafted. I mean, there's so many moving components, you know, like nobody else has that. There's some good guys that played at Georgetown. There's some great guys that you can move the conversation from Georgetown. You can say the whole Big East. There is nobody ever.
So you're saying Patrick Ewing was better than Alonzo Mourning?
Absolutely. As a Georgetown Hoya, that's his college career against Mourning's college career. There's no argument. Ewing goes to what, three Final Fours, 2 championship games, or is it 3 championship games?
Was it 3? Was it 3? It seems like 2, but may have been 3. Seems
like 3 championship games.
Okay.
Villanova,
Right.
Villanova.
I forget. Okay, God, I keep forgetting about. Yeah.
Villanova, Houston, and Carolina.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about Villanova. I keep forgetting it because Villanova wasn't even the best team. Villanova wasn't even the best team. They beat Duke, and then Georgetown beat St. John's, right? Was it St. John's they beat?
Yeah.
Because we thought it was gonna be Duke and St. John's, right?
No, we thought it was gonna be Georgetown and St. John's, and I don't know how they got that bracket. To this day, even though we beat, because I'm a St. John's guy. Anybody who don't know, you know what I mean? And we beat them early. We were the first team to beat Georgetown when they were ranked number 1. They were 1, we were 2. We beat them, and that kind of was a little chink in the armor because no one had beaten them. And it was like, okay, we got the formula because we got the talent, but the one thing that we're a better team than Villanova, but the one thing that Villanova played a certain
they played
way
team ball,
against that Georgetown press. They handled it. St. John's collapsed.
Right.
Against that vaunted Georgetown full court. And when you got Ewing and what's the other big guy they had at that time? Was it John Daugherty or something? It was after
I don't remember them. All I remember is Wingate and Reggie Williams. That's what I remember. I don't remember Michael Jackson. Yeah, Michael Jackson. Yeah, that's
Horace Broadnax. No, they had an absolute, like, defensively, they're probably like no college team, was at their level. Maybe the UNLV team. But
you're talking about of a different era, though. You're talking about in the 90s. You're talking about 88 through 92 UNLV, right? Or 88 through 91 Vegas. Okay.
Right. Okay. But I'm just talking about like straight defense. But his accomplishments, no one else has it. No one else can. Mourning was a good player in college, worthy of the overall number 2 pick, no doubt. If Shaq's not in that draft, he gets drafted number 1
over Leitner.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Because you're not talking about them as college players. You're projecting them to be professionals, pro players. And there was no way looking at Leitner, what Leitner's game was going to translate to into the pro game versus Mourning. Mourning was made to be an NBA ball player. It was only a matter of time.
Right. He was a different. He would, but Mourning was a prototype center for what he did. Wes Unseld, Moses Malone, like the dudes that wasn't very, very tall, but was a ball of muscle and energy. You know what I'm saying? That contested everything. A ferocious competitor down low. Like he didn't. Mourning wasn't 7'1" like Pat Ewing. Right? No,
he's a solid 6'10", right? 6'10" and a half, something like muscle. That.
Nobody I've ever seen had calves like Alonzo Mourning. Nobody. Like the
straight.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So it's like a Wes Unseld, Moses Malone type center, right? Except he brought something else to the game that Unseld and Fofo didn't bring. He expanded his shot to the 3-point line in his early years.
He could shoot. He
wasn't a shooter. He wasn't a shooter, but he could knock down certain shots.
He got laser focused to like where his jump shot was gonna be on the court.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Right. So he wasn't trying to be Dirk.
Right. No, he was not.
Is what I'm saying. It's like That elbow, give me that.
Money.
Give me that. That elbow, all of a sudden, that he wasn't just athletic in the paint. It's like he was able to get that elbow. Give me that. But he's one of those guys, and I look at him a lot like I used to look at Russell Westbrook today. He just played one way.
Yep.
In the early part of his career. He played so hard, so ferocious all the time. It was like a blind. There was like no finesse to his game.
Right. Right.
And Ewing was always able to get the best of him because his game was still all around better than his, even though, as you know, Ewing is like 7 or 8 years his senior.
Right. Right. I don't know, bro. I think if you Orlando with that pick, with the group of kids that you got, think about the group of kids that you have in '92, right? Say, because Shaq aside, because we all know Shaq was the best player in that draft. That's not even up for discussion, right? But
none of the discussion.
All right. So Orlando picked 1, right? But say at number 2, I think the only reason why Charlotte doesn't take Christian Laettner 2 is because they already had the Rookie of the Year playing the same position the year before, Larry Johnson.
Well, yeah. Why would you? Because if you took Laettner, where's he playing? Back then, there wasn't no such thing. There was no such thing as positionless basketball.
No. As
Back
a matter
then,
of fact, not only did you have to play power forward, you had to be a power guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, man.
Nobody was gonna put Laettner at center.
No.
Maybe for a cup of coffee during the game, maybe. But nobody's gonna be like, he's my starting center.
No. The second best center.
So by default, they had to draft.
They had to.
It wasn't even a conversation. It was like, we crazy. Yeah,
the second best center in that draft, and I'll name a couple, right? I'm gonna name some centers, and you're probably gonna laugh, but these are facts. I'm not making this up just to make you laugh, right? The next center drafted was Oliver Miller out of Arkansas. After him, Elmore Spencer out of Vegas. He was a good college player. Sean Rooks out of Arizona. You remember Sean Rooks out of Arizona? Yeah. He played next to the light-skinned kid.
Elmore Spencer had talent.
Yeah, he had talent, right? Sean Rooks, and what's the light-skinned center? Bison Dele. What's Bison Dele's real name?
Oh God. I always think about that kid too, man. When they were at Arizona.
Yeah, him,
and his
Sean
brother
Elliott.
His brother killed him.
Yeah, that's so sad, bro.
In a tragic
a boat accident, right? Remember that?
It wasn't a boat accident. The brother kills him on the boat. I mean, it's not even serious. That's how he invites the brother out. For anybody that knows the story, he invites the brother out. Him and his lady was sailing, the Gulf or whatever. The brother meets him. The brother's having how the story goes, having some money troubles or whatever.
Right.
And they meet him on the boat, and the brother was like, "Yo, I want, let's do this deal." And at that time, if you remember Bison Dele, he just retired from the NBA.
Yeah. But he had just resigned. He was coming back though. Remember, he had retired and then was coming back.
No, he got the contract, then retired.
Oh no. Okay.
He got the contract, went to camp, was like, I'm not feeling it anymore.
Right.
I'm done.
Okay.
Gets on a boat, him and his lady, they don't know where he's at. His government name, I remember this kid at Arizona, and he was so talented. He was so talented. He helped the Bulls win that championship in what is that? The
Brian Williams.
Brian Williams, yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's
yes. He helped them win that championship right before. Is it right before they got Rodman? Or right after somewhere,
like that,
yeah, something like that. And there's a story that I heard. I don't know how true it is, but I heard a couple of times that he was so, and this is, no slight to his memory, God rest the dead, Bison Daly, that he was on a plane with the Bulls, and they were going to I think it was after the championship, and he was so like anxiety was taking him, and he tried to pull the exit lever for the door.
Right.
They had to hold him down
to save everybody.
Yeah, to save everybody. I don't know how true that story is, but I've heard that story a couple of times that they had to like physically like strap him in because he was trying to let it all out.
Yeah.
But he
that's
was
a sad story, bro.
Super sad. Super
anxiety. Anxiety is a real thing, man. Mental health, all of that. Those are real things, bro. Those are real things.
I don't even think he was 30 when he quit.
Yeah, man. He was a dude. My opinion of him and that Arizona team. That Arizona team that had who was their point guard? It wasn't Steve Kerr, was it?
No.
Kenny Lofton? Was it Kenny Lofton?
I think it was Kenny Lofton. He's after. Gosh.
Nah, they had the greatest starting five in his. Sean Brooks, Brian Williams, Steve Kerr, Sean Elliott, and then they had a point guard. I'm gonna because I can't
remember who their point guard was, but I know they had a very good five. They had a very good five.
Yeah, man, they might have had the greatest college starting five of all time.
Well, I don't know about that, but they had a good five. They had a good five, but they didn't. I don't think they never got to a Final Four.
Did they lose to Michigan?
I think they lost to Michigan 1 year. I believe they might have got. I think the furthest they might have got might have been to 16.
Okay.
If memory serves me correctly, they had a good squad, but and he came out. I remember he came out early.
Okay.
He popped out like last minute, put his name in. He came out early. He was one of those. When you have players like that, and I want to speak on this just a little bit, guys that, you have mental health issues and things of that nature, when you draft these kind of individuals in the league, there's a lot of guys in sports, not just in basketball itself, that are suffering to some kind of mental health situation that they don't know how to deal with it, and the team doesn't know how to deal with it.
Right.
And you end up not getting the best out of a player like this. See, if you're gonna take a guy like Bison Daly, whatever, I'm sure once you do the research, once you go back to college and high school, you would have seen some things that would make you go,
Yeah.
What is this exactly? So if you're gonna take, fellas like that, you gotta know how you're gonna incorporate them into your team.
Right.
The same way Indiana had to get services for Ron Artest way back when.
Right.
Because he had troubles. What's my guy that that Isaiah tried to resurrect his career? Vin Baker.
Vin Baker. Yeah. Oh God.
You remember Vin
Baker? Vin Baker was so out of shape, bro.
Oh.
Vin Baker had to be about 340 pounds, bro. He played at 240 with the Bucks. And with the Knicks, he was like 325.
Vin Baker, if you remember Vin Baker, and I'm sure Knicks fans, they remember Vin Baker. Vin Baker from out of nowhere.
Yep.
I think he was drafted like top 2, top 3, something like that, from out of nowhere.
Yep.
He had one of the most discreet college careers. Nobody knew about Vin Baker.
Right.
So all of a sudden, Milwaukee's drafting this kid, and we're like, who?
Right.
And he gets so good because he had a couple of decent years with Big Dog. And I think, did he move on to Seattle?
Nah. Let's talk about not just Big Dog, bro, because it was Lee Mayberry, Todd Day, Glenn Robinson, Vin Baker, that young core, man.
They had a serious young core, and something within like, I want to say within like 7 years of his career, all of a sudden he just went like
he just fell apart.
He just fell apart.
Yeah. Think about that, man. They had Todd Day, Lee Mayberry, Glenn Robinson, and I'm just going off the top of my head. I think they may have had Michael Redd, Ray Allen.
Yes.
All those young dudes there.
Those three played together early. Big Dog, Vin Baker, and Ray Allen played together.
Yep. Bro, it was, man.
And something just, that was a nice Milwaukee team.
Yes.
They had a good little run. They had a good, you got teams like that. If you remember that team, they lost to, I think, the 76ers in the conference finals. In Eastern Conference Finals that year. I remember. Right, got them to the finals. That team right there should have went to a finals.
Should have gone to multiple.
They were better when they lost. They were a better team than that 76ers Iverson team.
Right.
Man for man, they were a better team, and I couldn't believe they lost that series. I was like, my God, you're losing basically to one offensive force on the team.
Right. Bro.
That was a good team. That's one of those teams. That's one of those teams that is forgotten. And Vin Baker was like slightly before that, because by that time he was already off the team. By the time they played that 76ers squad,
right?
He was already gone. But he's one of those. And by the time he got to the Knicks, I think he wasn't even. He might have been in the league. He was out the league. He might have been like 30. By the time Isaiah picked him up off of playing USBL basketball.
Yeah.
We're gonna play USBL basketball. He out there somewhere on Hollywood Boulevard. I'm like, yo, where did you find this dude? Yeah. Matches him with Marbury. That lasts for maybe a month.
Right.
Vin Baker. Oh my God. Yeah.
Vin Baker in 97, Vin Baker was in Utah. I'm sorry, Seattle.
Right, because he went from Milwaukee to Seattle. I can't remember what happened. Something happened with him in Milwaukee. They had a falling out.
Right.
But it was something about that connection between Milwaukee and Seattle, because eventually they end up trading Ray Allen to Seattle.
Right. That was because Michael Redd was ready. Michael Redd was ready, bro.
There was no way in hell. That's like having Mark Price and Kevin Johnson on the team at the same time,
and Del Curry. And
you trade Kevin Johnson. There's no way in hell. Mark Price, I like you, nice point guard and all, but talent wise, there's no way I'm trading Kevin Johnson and keeping you.
Can you believe that Cleveland team had 6 NBA ready guards? And nobody would hire that GM after that.
Wayne Embry, you see, here's the thing, and I liked Wayne Embry. I thought Wayne Embry was a hell of a GM. I thought he was a hell of a GM.
Right.
He just had the bad luck, like us. He kept running. He kept running into Michael Jordan.
Yep.
He kept running into Michael Jordan, because if you looked at those Cleveland teams, if memory serves me correctly, they kept winning like somewhere between 55 to 58 games.
Yep.
For like 3 to 4 years, they kept winning that same amount, but they couldn't get by them. They couldn't get by them either.
Right. And then every time they had the Bulls on the ropes, somebody would get hurt. Bro, it was like a curse. You remember them being up 2-1 against Chicago? 2-1 against Chicago. Jordan and Pippen are hurt, but they're going to play. Right? But Ron Harper is hurt and he can't play.
Right.
And so instead of going up 3-1 against the Bulls, Michael Jordan goes off on Craig Elo. Right? Goes off on Craig. Now think about the guards this team had, bro. You have Price, Johnson. I didn't even mention John Bagley. John Bagley eventually was a starter for the Boston Celtics. The short dude, number 10, stocky, Raymond Felton, Kyle Lowry looking dude. Right? Yeah, Kevin Johnson, Del Curry, who couldn't get on the floor, but when he did, there were nights when they could think about this 3-point shoot, man, when you could put Del Curry, Mark Price, and Craig Elo in a 3-guard lineup with a center that demanded a double team in Brad Daugherty.
Yeah, but they didn't play out in for the most part. They played in out. Right. Because Daugherty, as you say, and I like Daugherty. I like Daugherty from Carolina.
Right.
Daugherty is one of those. He's one of those guys that they're like,
Right.
He doesn't move the needle. Nice. I looked at his numbers like a couple of months back. I think his career numbers is like 18.9 and 9.5 rebounds or something like that for like 10 years. Right. And then he went off into NASCAR. But he's one of those. He's excellent passing big man. Excellent passing big man. Could rebound, but he just wasn't. He wasn't dominant. You know what I mean? He wasn't like.
He's definitely a top 50 center of all time. Let's not mistake. Yeah. He's definitely a top 50 center of all time, bro. But what you're talking about is during the big man era, he was not a top 5. He was no. Let me rephrase it. He was not a top 3 center.
He was top 5 in the conference.
Right.
But not top 5 overall.
Right. And we're talking about the David Robinson, Pat Ewing era. Hakeem Olajuwon that came on just a tad bit later. But early on, one could argue that he was better. He was better than Robert Parrish, right? He was better. He was probably better. Yeah, offensively, he's better than Chief, bro. Robert Parrish. Brad Daugherty, yeah, he was better than Robert Parrish offensively.
You know what? I'm gonna take Parrish.
No,
I'm gonna take Parrish. Yeah, I'm gonna take Parrish.
If you talk about early 80s, if you talk about Golden State Warriors, Robert Parrish, I'll take that Parrish over him.
I'm gonna take Parrish. He's one of those guys, although he played for like 19 years or whatever, if you look at his numbers, especially in the prime of his career, his numbers, they sneak up on you.
I know.
And he was just, ask Ewing. He used to torment Ewing early in Ewing's career. They could not beat Boston. Early, before Ewing's classic game, where he finally shakes off all of the demons and he finally broke through. Right. Them first couple years, he couldn't do nothing with Parrish.
No.
He couldn't do nothing with Parrish. Nothing.
Right. Robert Parrish was a great. I'm not saying that the dude was a bad player, but Robert Parrish in his prime was 19-10, and let's just say Chief is 19-10, bro. Let's not count the Larry Bird, the skyrocketing of Larry Bird and his, when Larry Bird took over the league. When they was trying to start, you remember when Kevin McHale was the sixth man, right?
Yeah.
But then there were lineups with Johnson, Ainge, Bird, McHale, and Parrish on the floor. Right? Where you couldn't have where Chief and McHale could not coexist in the same space down low. Right? Because you had to give McHale the whole block to himself. Because whether people in the chat realize this or not, when you talk about the greatest low post player of all time in terms of fundamentals, it may not be Tim Duncan. It may be Kevin McHale. It may not be Elijah Wan. It may be Kevin McHale. Kevin McHale would make people jump. He would do moves and make you jump. He'd have you jumping, and he wouldn't even be pump faking.
Yeah, his shoulders. He got like classic coat hanger looking shoulders.
Phil Jackson. He had the Phil Jackson build.
And his arms are long, so he could just move. He could just like twitch his shoulders, pivot his shoulders up, and then his up and under. Not wasting. I mean, he's not wasting any movement. Like once the defender like showed himself to like go left or right, and he would go the other way. Like he almost destroyed. Well, he did not almost destroy. He destroyed Ralph Sampson in the finals.
86, yeah.
In 86 finals. I was still in my teens or whatever. He destroyed Ralph Sampson. Like they beat them so bad. Houston won a game. They smacked Houston so bad as to say, we didn't want to see you in the first place. We really wanted to see the Lakers.
Right.
So you interrupted, what should have been, because Ralph Sampson hits one of the greatest last second shots in NBA.
Come on, bro. You gotta call that great or lucky. Come on, bro. We gotta say great or lucky.
It's both. It's both.
The shot went in. And Michael Cooper had to tell him.
If I remember the play correctly, it's like off an inbounds pass.
Yep.
With like maybe 1.2 seconds or something like that. He kind of contorts his body, turns, lifts it up, it hits, bang, bang, goes in. It's kind of like the Kawhi shot.
Right.
A little bit. In that how it, and everybody in basketball world was like, no, come on.
But the Lakers sleptwalked through 86 though.
They kind of did because they didn't take them seriously, and Houston was a good team.
Yeah,
Houston was a good team. Houston was good enough to be where they were. Let's say that. Because Houston
Do you remember Elijah Wan during those finals?
I think I remember him vaguely in and out because they couldn't do nothing with him. But it was like, okay, we'll let him do and we'll clamp on everybody else. Because they used to have a dude at small forward named Rodney McCray.
Wow. You remember McCray?
Yeah. I remember that team. Rodney McCray, the shooting guard. The point guard was technically a cat named Lloyd, not Sleepy Floyd. Sleepy Floyd wasn't on that championship team. Lloyd. They had their shooting guard was a cat named Reed. They could.
Elo was on that team. Elo was on that team too. Craig Elo from the Cleveland Cavaliers. He was on that team as a backup.
Elo, right? They had a good team.
Number 7.
They had a good team, and the Lakers just didn't take them seriously.
The Lakers took nobody serious. They were so
just didn't take them. Yeah, and they just, Elijah Wan's greatness, even Sampson. I mean, that was pretty much the last of Ralph Sampson, because his story gets tragic after that.
Yeah, foot injuries. Porzingis. Basically, he Porzingis. Basically.
Yeah. Foot, ankle, back. He had.
Oh, it was just
Yeah, he had everything, but that was a good team. That was a very good team, but they got split. By the time they saw Boston, that '86 Celtics team with C-Sting as the backup point guard and Walton,
and Paxson. Remember Jim Paxson?
Yeah, Paxson, Walton. These are guys that's coming off their bench.
Yep.
That's coming off their bench. You got Walton, one of the greatest centers whoever plays. He's the backup.
Yep.
He's the backup. That '86 team was serious. Yep. It was an absolute problem. Absolute, but it takes, and we've talked about this before. There's a reason why every team hasn't won a finals, hasn't won a championship.
Yep. Yep.
It takes something. It takes, the ingredients from management to be able to identify a collection of guys, and in particular, one or two of those guys have to have it.
Right.
Like we said before, Cedric Maxwell is an MVP.
Yep.
He's a finals MVP on a team that has Larry Bird.
Yep. 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 Yeah.
How do you amass all of that talent? See what I'm saying? So you gotta have the right people in there that just has the right vision, because speaking some more about that Celtics dynasty, they had the right to draft Joe Barry Carroll.
Yep.
Now, if you remember Joe Barry Carroll was kind of like Brad Daugherty.
He was a bad boy now.
He's a bad boy, but he wasn't going to move the needle, and they knew it.
Right.
For what they was trying to do, I can get McHale and Parrish in this trade.
Right.
Yeah, I think you could have Joe Barry Carroll. Look at Joe Barry Carroll.
Is that not the sneakiest move ever? So you get my man outright, and the Warriors didn't believe in Chief, because he had only did it for what, 1 or 2 years. He was like 17 points a game 1 or 2 years. And you talking about Joe Barry Carroll, bro? And I think they put Joe Barry Carroll and Sleepy Floyd together, right? Is that what Golden State was trying to put Joe Barry Carroll and Sleepy Floyd together? I think, right? And so you get Robert Parrish and the #1 pick. See, nobody knew what the #1 pick was. Boston knew who the #1 pick was going. They knew who they was going to take #1, right? But bro, you talking, man? Come on, man.
You gotta have. Although this guy, but he's a New York guy. Red Auerbach. He was a New York dude, a New York swagger. You know what I mean? Although he rubbed it in your face
every day.
He blew that damn cigar in your face. The game ain't even over, and he already lit the cigar.
The only person in the arena that could smoke.
The only person in the arena that's allowed to smoke. Okay? And he done lit the cigar long before the final bell has rung. But he had key talent evaluator.
Yeah.
Like, nah, he's not gonna work out. He's not gonna work out. What we're trying to do, he's not gonna work out. Yeah, I know he's the overall #1 pick, but give me people who are not enamored with the trend. And
Right.
for a long time, the NBA was enamored with the big man.
Right.
Portland sunk their the middle part of their success as an organization after the Walton years are sunk because they believed, let's take a guy that's missed 2.5 years of college because he done had 3 or 4 knee surgeries.
Are you talking about Sam Bowie?
Yeah, just because he's big.
But he looked like a better version. No lie, he looked like a better version of Ralph Sampson, bro.
There's no way you could draft a guy. Think about it.
And his injuries were not just related to him getting hurt. It was just like the stuff like staph infection. Remember he had the things on his foot where he had to go in and get his foot broken again after it so they could heal properly.
Okay. Hear what you said. He had to get broken.
Yeah.
They had to go re-break it.
Re-break it so it can heal properly.
He had several surgeries. Are not something. Don't let anybody ever tell you anything about that's minor surgery.
There's no such thing.
There's no such thing. So you have a young man that's already had several of these surgeries, and you're gonna sink your franchise on a health risk. Mm-hmm. You should be fired. You should be fired. Whoever made the decision, you should be fired. You should never work in the NBA ever again.
Right.
He's not somebody you draft top 2. He's somebody you draft 18, 19, 20.
Or if you have 2 draft picks.
Yes.
If you have 2 draft picks, so you go get one for sure, right? You go get your guy for sure, and then you know what I'm saying, you gamble with the other one.
If he's there later on, okay.
Right.
We'll take a chance.
I cannot believe I'm looking back at the 1980 draft. Bro, some of these names, man, some people should be pushed down a flight of stairs for the picks they made, bro. I'm telling you, I don't advocate for violence, but think about this, bro. Okay, 90 and the first overall pick is Joe Barry Carroll. Right. What you just mentioned, Joe Barry Carroll, Kevin McHale, Chief. Right, so the top 3 picks are Joe Barry Carroll, Darryl Griffith, and Kevin McHale. 3 of them very solid players, very, very solid players, right?
Right.
And this tells you how bad franchises are. At number 4, the Chicago Bulls, which is a grease fire of an organization. If somebody tell me the Bulls are a great organization, man, I swear.
No,
because they got lucky with
they
Jordan.
Were horrible.
Yes.
Yeah, they were horrible.
Oh my God. The only franchise, I'm trying to think about a franchise that's bad like them today. Minnesota. The Minnesota Timberwolves. That's the equivalent.
No, we're not. No. Sacramento would be them.
Sacramento, that's even better. Yeah. They
were that bad. They were bad.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh my
They
God.
had I've never really agreed a lot with the former commissioner, the late David Stern or whatever, but at one point they had a lot of guys that had a lot of drug issues, yo. And right. Chicago had like cornered the Central American market. Right. They had Quentin Daly, Orlando Warren.
Oh my God.
They had some real dudes that had some real issues in this league.
Right.
They were a horribly run franchise. They were horrible.
Yeah. They were terrible.
Yeah.
They were. But I'm gonna throw some other names of some franchises out here. It's gonna make you laugh, right? So guess who picked after Chicago? the Denver Nuggets tried to pick a scoring machine in James Earl Ray, right? James, come on, man. The pick after that is the New Jersey Nets. They pick Mike O'Koren.
Oh my God.
Right? The pick after that, it gets better, bro. It gets better right here. This is where it gets better. The Nets pick again, and they pick Mike Jaminski. Mike Jaminski was a solid player. Right?
It'd have been better if they had took Jaminski first. Jaminski was a solid player.
Right. But guess who is the pick right after Mike O'Koren and Mike Jaminski from the New Jersey Nets? The Philadelphia 76ers select Andrew Toney.
No.
Yes, bro. I'm telling you.
But okay, fans. For people who don't understand, and I'm so glad you went here. But people don't understand what the New Jersey Nets, the confused colors, the 64 color looking uniform, crayon looking uniform team organization.
Right.
What they were like at that time in the 80s, man. Wow. They were just so badly run. They had 7 owners.
Yeah.
They had a 7-man ownership group. They couldn't get anything correct.
Right.
The best they had at that point in time was when they hired Larry Brown.
Yep.
They hired Larry Brown for a minute. He was able to get him on track. Your favorite player was playing some absolutely crazy basketball at that time.
Yep.
They fire Larry Brown. They can't control your favorite player, Michael Way Richardson, and they're drafting guys like Ed O'Bannon. They're drafting guys.
Right.
What's the other one they draft? Morris. What was his name? Was it Chris Morris?
Chris Morris is crazy, bro. I know I tell the story all the time, AD, but Chris Morris, think about Chris Morris was an NBA player, right? We played him in a pro-am. I fouled him accidentally. The dude flipped out and wanted to rob everybody. The dude was going to take our stuff. He an NBA player, bro. He rich. And this is during the Drazen Petrovic thinks he's better than Jordan era. Remember when the Nets had just got Drazen Petrovic from Portland, right?
Portland.
They wouldn't play him because Clyde Drexler was the starter, Danny Ainge was the backup, and Drazen Petrovic was the third dude, right? And they had just drafted James Hollywood Robinson, a dude out of Alabama, who was in the backcourt he was on the Alabama team with Latrell Sprewell and Robert Horry. Right. People forget those 3 played together in college, right? I accidentally fouled this dude. And the dude looks at me in the gym, everybody get quiet. Like, yo, Uncle Freezy, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, yo, it's an accident. The dude took off, I accidentally bumped him, right? The dude looked like he wanted to go off the hands, right? Off the rip, which I understand. Like, why are you fouling me here? You know what I'm saying? This is a pro-am, you know. You know what I'm saying? And if you didn't want to shoot them thing, but anyway, the point of getting that is then he flips out. You can see like some kind of weird switch in his mind just flipped, bro.
Right.
Like he just wanted to rob everybody. What you got in your bag?
He was a big time player. He was a big time. Where did he go to school again? Was it Auburn?
Yes, he played at Auburn with Charles Barkley.
Right.
Charles Barkley, Chuck Person.
Right. Right. He came. They just had some. I remember. I think he averaged like 28, 29 points as a senior or something like that, as a junior. Right. And then they drafted. What's the other kid they drafted like a year or so early before him? What was it? What's his name? Hobson.
Scotty Hobson or Dennis Hobson?
Dennis Hobson.
That ain't sound familiar, right? That ain't ring a bell.
Right. That there was some years, to be fair to the Nets, there was some years there in the NBA draft that if your scouting team didn't properly identify that person in the draft, you could walk home with an Ed O'Bannon, a Dennis Hudson. You could get some guys that had big reputations in college that couldn't play lick.
That's when draft books used to come out. Remember when scout books used to come out, and you could see GMs reading the scouting report on a guy and be like, "Oh, he can jump. I'll take him."
Here's another guy, Mark Macon. Remember him?
Yes, I remember Mark Macon, point guard from Detroit. Went to Temple.
Went to Temple.
Yep.
Right? Looked like he was going to be the next. A lot of these guys, your scouting team that you trust, the people, your team, your evaluators are telling you that these guys are the piece that you need when they come in and they can't play a lick of NBA basketball.
A lick.
And these are first rounders.
Oh, you know who the Nets took in '86? The Knicks took Pearl Washington out of Syracuse.
Take a look at that. Go over that whole draft, that '86 draft.
All right, let me start at the top because it's a little tragic, right? So all right. So the number 1 pick was Brad Daugherty. The number 2 pick was Len Bias.
Right.
Golden State took Chris Washburn. I'm still laughing at that.
Oh my God.
Right. Right. Indiana took Chuck Person out of Auburn, number 4.
Right.
Then the Knicks took Kenny Skywalker. Right. And then there's a William Bedford. You can tell.
Yep. Out of Memphis.
Yep. Why did they name him after a Civil War general, William Bedford?
So far, you've named 6 guys, right?
Right.
1, 2, 3. 3 of those guys played less than 2 NBA seasons because of drugs.
Yep. So
Washburn may have been able to come back once or twice. Washburn,
off and on,
Bedford, bro. And Len Bias dies.
Yep. Oh, the next name gonna make you laugh. The next name on the list, just by you just said, the next name is Roy Topley.
Okay.
Right. The name after that is Ron Harper.
Yes.
That's the reason why he didn't retire as a Cleveland Cavalier is because of the drug rumors. Remember that all in the paper? Wayne Embry had to trade him because the owner was like, we don't want to be associated with druggies. Remember that?
Which made no sense because at that time, he might have been the second best shooting guard in the conference.
Yep. Might have been.
You were trading the wrong piece.
Right. But it wasn't about what he did on the floor. It was about his reputation of being around drug dealers.
Yeah.
That was the thing. And just not to be greasy about Ron Harper. I don't have nothing against Ron Harper, right? I'm just going by like the feeling around the world at the time. Like, yo, this young cat, you know what I'm saying? He think he's something. He hanging out with drug dealers. People think he, you know what I'm saying? And then it's the drug years. Now we going through this thing with Michael Ray Richardson getting suspended by Golden State. Now he in New Jersey. Same thing. The same year he get banned from the league for life by David Stern. 86, David Stern's trying to clean up. And then you got this thing going on with Ron Harper. That's the reason. But the thing is
all in 86.
Yep. That's what I'm saying.
This is the height of the crack era.
Yep.
This is everything. You know what I mean? This is all in 86.
Right.
And you only rolled off 8 names, and four out of the 8 are out of the league because of drug issues.
Because of drugs. Right. Can I just please just entertain me on this road. I just need some help. Because when as I preview the list, I legit want to take my fat ass and jump out this window over here. This one right over here, bro. This one right over here. I want to. Yep, this one right here. We just got it fixed. Right, bro? How in the world do the Knicks take Kenny Walker and pass on Ron Harper and Del Curry?
Look at their roster at the time, right? Let's look at the Knicks roster at the time. It makes no sense. Remember, you have Ewing.
You have Ewing, bro.
You draft Ewing the year before, okay?
Right.
The guards that are on the team when you draft Ewing are Rory Sparrow, Ray Williams,
Trent Tucker, Darryl
and
Walker.
Darryl Walker.
Yep.
That's your guards.
Yep.
All four of them together don't make a legitimate NBA ball. And there's no disrespect to Trent Tucker because he had some good moments as Nick moments, but Trent Tucker was not
Frank
a great.
Frank Ntilikina, bro.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Trent Tucker became this. Trent Tucker became a good spot up shooter.
Right.
If you left him open, he would drain it.
Right.
Frank wasn't that.
Right.
So,
not yet. Frank ain't that. Frank ain't.
But look at those four guys, and you mentioned Ron Harper. You need Ron Harper.
You needed Ron Harper.
Needed Ron Harper.
But you know the reason why they didn't take him, right? You know the reason why they didn't take him is the year before they drafted their Michael Jordan.
Who?
Jerome Wilkins.
Nah,
don't do that to me, AD. Because I'm not saying what we see today. I'm saying in that moment, they're like, yeah, that kid Jordan, all he do is shoot. We could go grab a 6'6" athlete from anywhere. And Jerome Wilkins, hey.
Here's the problem. Here's their problem with that analysis, right? Joe Wilkins' first year, I think he averaged, and tell me if I'm correct, I think he averaged 12.2 points per game. His second year, this might have been like his highest scoring output. I believe he averaged 19.1 points per game.
87, right.
87, right?
Pat Ewing was hurt. Nope.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Somebody had to score. Yeah.
Right. Somebody had to score there.
Right.
And at the time, because this was the rumors, Chris Mullin is having all kind of problems in Golden State.
Alcohol,
right.
all of that.
With the alcohol.
Yep.
Right. All of that. It looked like they were about to trade Wilkins for Mullin. Somehow, some way, they don't get that trade done, and they're looking at Wilkins as if maybe, from what you said, he is the shooting guard to go. He never could shoot.
Though.
Never could shoot. That wouldn't. For me to look at him as anything more than okay, he's a good part of the team. Maybe
run jump athlete. That's it. He's just like
run
jump athlete. That's it.
Maybe he could be the sixth man. We're gonna clear up. They had the same problem then that we have now.
Right.
You just named 6 guards. The same like we have now, 6 guards.
Right.
They had the same problem then, same problem now, and identifying the wrong piece to keep to go along with your star play.
Right. Because I heard those trade rumors too. Because I thought it was you said Mullin. I wanted Mullin, but I thought it was Orlando Woolridge. I heard the Woolridge rumors. I heard the Vandeweghe rumors, and then we finally wound up getting Kiki Vandeweghe. He was a shell of himself by the time we got him, but yeah. So we heard the Vandeweghe rumors. We heard the who else was out there? Paxson. You remember Jim Paxson?
Jim Paxson.
Yeah, Jim Paxson was an all-star with Portland, bro. That's the reason why they didn't draft. I'm gonna say this, chat. I'm gonna say this. And don't think these are my words. But the reason why Portland didn't draft Michael Jordan had nothing to do with Michael Jordan. It had everything to do with Jim Paxson making the All-Star team and Clyde Drexler being a potential Hall of Famer on the bench. That had nothing to do with Sam Bowie or Michael Jordan. It had everything to do with you got a guy that's in the All-Star game already. You got holes everywhere on your roster. The only sure spot you got is shooting guard, and you're gonna draft another shooting guard.
I draft him.
I know you would, but you could also say that about the Houston Rockets. You just drafted Ralph Sampson, #1 the year before, right? You just drafted Ralph Sampson.
Yeah, and they drafted Elijah.
But what I'm saying, the prevailing thought though there is if Jordan is that good, right? Why do you take Elijah when you have Sampson? When up until that point, the Twin Towers thing had never worked. The Twin Towers concept had never worked up until that point. And I don't know if it ever will. Because you still, at the end of the day, you still need floor spacing. I don't care how good two centers are. You can't play two centers together. You just can't. Right? You just can't, bro. I'm sorry. Because one center is ultimately going to have to play a power forward type role. And they thought it was going to be Olajuwon because he was the better athlete. Well, not the better athlete, but who do you think is the better athlete, Olajuwon or Sampson?
Well, Sampson pre-injury is right there with him.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right there with him. It's what makes him look so athletic is that he does things from a big guy's perspective that small guys do.
Right.
At that time.
Like Ralph Sampson had handles.
Right.
Now I'm not talking about elite. I'm not talking about elite handle.
No. But it's like we look at Kevin Durant today, who's a 7-footer with a point guard's handle.
Right. And but back in 1983, when we saw this for the first time, it was like this dude's a video game. This dude's gonna average 70 points a game.
Yeah.
And then when you think about him at Virginia.
But it was also something, and this is no knock on Ralph, right? Ralph wasn't also the most ferocious dude.
No.
Because when you have a guy, especially the concept of the center at that time, the center was like the lion in the jungle.
Right.
He's supposed to be ferocious.
Right.
Ralph wasn't necessarily ferocious.
Nah. He wasn't an elite athlete though.
But he wasn't elite, but he was definitely an elite athlete at 7'4".
7'4", good foot speed, good agility. And here's the thing too. For the most part, he was not injury prone. He just had those weird injuries, bro. Like, dang, man, how you gonna blow your knee out? You come back, yeah.
This is why I was so with trading KP at the time. I mean, I was saying it to people, they looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, you got to understand something with a big man. A big man is like having a thoroughbred racehorse. No matter how great that racehorse is, the moment he hurts his leg, he is no longer good. He is now on the trajectory to become what? Glue.
Yeah. Right.
Because when you big, everything is different. When you tall, everything is different.
Right.
You trying to move, you trying to play as many games as the smaller guys do. You never really. It's the same thing that happened with Walton.
Right.
Once he cracked the first bone in his foot,
that was it.
That was it. He never and they never let it heal.
Rushing him back. Yep.
Kept rushing him back. To find out, when you hear his story, come to find out, it was like, yo, he'd been playing basketball for so hard, for so long, for so many years, no break.
Right.
So you gotta be extra mindful with a big.
Right. And so for those that don't know, Bill Walton and Sam Bowie had the same injury. The same injury on the same foot It's like,
Yeah.
This, I'm not even gonna mention Greg Oden, right? I'm not gonna mention Portland big man, but you know what I'm saying? Because at the Portland got some run out of Bill Walton, a lot of years out of Walton, right? But the thing is the screw on top, the bone on top of the foot. Joel Embiid had it, right? They put the screw, they put the screw in the foot. Now Joel Embiid is a Hall of Famer. But nobody knew about that type of technology back then. It's like the reason why Gail Say is not the NFL's all-time leading rusher is because he tore his ACL in one leg, came back, and then tore the ACL in the other leg. And now you could tear ACL and be back in 7 months, 8 months. Back then, that means your career was over. You know what I'm saying? So
but,
you know,
you're forever compromised.
Right.
You're forever, especially as a big.
Yeah, man.
When you're a big guy, Yao Ming, same thing.
Yeah.
Smith, same thing.
And the thing about Sam Bowie also, just real quick, because I think Sam Bowie gets a bad rap. The thing about Sam Bowie as well is Sam Bowie had the power forward skills that people were looking for back then. Like they was like, this is the new age of power forward. But Sam Bowie could do it at power forward and center, but wanted to play center. You feel me? So he wanted to be the center with power forward skills, with the little short area handle, with the set shot, right? You can back then there was a value of posting up your guards. And so when you posted up your guards, you could still keep Sam Bowie on the floor. The theory, you could post up Clyde Drexler against smaller guards, and Sam Bowie could still be on the floor and not be a detriment to the offense. Now, I'm not saying that he could do the entry pass to Clyde Drexler, but what I'm saying is if you double team Clyde and kicked it out and moved the ball around the perimeter, Sam Bowie, in theory, could knock down that shot, right? But he was injury prone.
Yeah, and all of that, what he could do and how he would fit is not enough. Like I said, you're talking about the overall number 2 pick. It's not enough value.
Right.
If you want to see, all right, we could trade down. Okay. I can't even understand that.
Right.
But I can't take him there at that value when that pick right there can change my roster for the next 10 to 15 years.
Yep.
Because that's what those kind of players, especially at that time, did. All of those players that was drafted at that time that ever became anything, they had at least a 10 to 15 year career.
Right. And you could legit, if you're okay, so if you're Portland, right there, right? Say if you're Portland with the number 2 pick, what I would look to do is Portland had 2 picks in that draft, right?
Yeah.
Portland picked I'm sorry, in the first round, Portland had the 19 pick and the number 2 pick. Do you try to package those to move up to number 1?
I'm sure they probably had conversation, but
okay,
they probably were told rudely, no, this is not happening.
But here's the thing. Even I would do that deal if I'm Houston, because even if I do move to 2 and don't get Olajuwon, guess who I'm getting?
Yeah, but Houston is not thinking like that neither, because like I said, in the beginning, they are enamored with the big.
Right.
And Olajuwon is coming off of a last-second shot against NC State from winning a national championship.
Yeah, man. Oh,
and he had been there back-to-back years.
Yep. But here's the thing. So even if you're okay, so if you got him, and I know this is an old school Knicks thing, man, but I'm just saying, y'all listen. Even if you're Portland right here, and you don't get and say you don't get Sam Bowie, you can't, because you legit can't take the risk of getting a Sam Bowie, right? Because for the record, let's not act like Sam Bowie didn't play, right? Sam Bowie averaged 51 games a season. Okay.
He did play. I think he ended up with the Nets. He was on the Nets for a minute.
Yeah.
He did eventually play, but he wasn't
Sam Bowie. He wasn't the Sam Bowie that he should have been.
No, right? Because he always had injury issues.
And he always had to play at 70%. He always had to play with his foot off the throttle. Because anytime he went 100%, you knew what the possibility was. Right? But think about this though. If you just real quick, I'm gonna name the top 5 picks in the 84 draft, right? And y'all just follow what Anthony D and I are saying. So number 1 is Olajuwon. Number 2 is Sam Bowie. Number 3 is Michael Jordan. Number 4 is Big Smooth Sam Perkins. Number 5 is Charles Barkley. Right now, here's number 7, Alvin Robertson, very slept on. Number 9, Otis Thorpe. Number 11, Kevin Willis. Number 13, Jay Humphries. Number 14, Michael Cage. Number 15, dunk champ Terrence Stansberry. Number 16, John Stockton. Number 17, Jeff Turner. Number 18, Vern Fleming. Right? Number 20 by Detroit, Tony Campbell. Right? And let me see. It's one. It's other players in this draft too. Let me go down. It's one more. I want the name. Where is it? I think it's one more person in this draft. Maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. There's one other person in this draft I want to mention. Where is it? Okay, maybe it's not nobody else. Okay. All right, so maybe it's not. Okay, maybe that's another year. But listen, man, that first round, you could trade down in the draft, man, and just get another guy. You can, if you don't get, think about it, if you don't walk away with Jordan, Bowie, or Olajuwon, bro, if you're Portland, is Charles Barkley such a bad consolation prize?
No.
I'm Terry Porter, Clyde Drexler, Charles Barkley. Is that such a bad 3 out of 5?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I would have been satisfied with Stockton, with Vern Fleming, the point guard out of Indiana, a very professional point guard, right? Kevin Willis, the scoring machine. I mean, Otis Thorpe. I mean, you got Buck Williams, they got Buck Williams, what, 3-4 years later, 2 years later? To me, Otis Thorpe and Buck Williams, well, I love Buck Williams, bro. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
I think Buck Williams is in the draft before them.
Nah, he right here. I'm looking at him.
What year Buck Williams drafted?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Buck Williams is in New Jersey at the time.
Yeah. But teams didn't see back then. Another thing back then, you didn't have teams that were being creative and trying to trade and really, making forward moves. It's like 1 or 2 guys.
Right. Like a Red Auerbach.
Yeah. I mean, that was really a lot of those teams was just.
They weren't even scouting, bro. They weren't even scouting.
Like, let's look at Atlanta. Atlanta just happened to have Dominique fall in their lap.
In their lap. And I think Dominique Wilkins, for the record, wasn't even drafted by Atlanta. People don't know that. I think he was drafted by the Utah Jazz. I think let me I'm gonna just go back. I'm gonna go back and see. But I think he was drafted by the Jazz and then traded to them. I don't think he ever played for the Utah Jazz. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Dominique Wilkins drafted by the Utah Jazz, bro.
Yeah. And they probably make that trade because what in 82? When is Dominique drafted? 81, 82?
82.
82. So I'm trying to remember Utah's squad at that particular time. Why would they make that maneuver? What teams?
Didn't they have Adrian Dantley and Darryl Griffin?
I'm right, but I don't remember like how long did they have Adrian? Like, did they have Adrian at that time? Well, if they had Adrian at that time, then it makes sense.
Right.
Then it makes sense because you have a prolific scorer at the 3 in Dantley.
Right.
Let
me see. I'm just gonna see if I can find his numbers. Let me see if I can find out when he was with. So Adrian Dantley was only 6'5", bro. I swear that dude played like he was 6'9".
Yeah.
So Adrian Dantley played for the Lakers in 78 and 79. I did not know that, bro. That's crazy. And he played with them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He played with them 7 seasons and made the All-Star team 6 times. And for that reason alone, I can see them not keeping Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah. Because at that time he was a prolific 3.
Yeah. Pump fake, bro. Pump fake king.
Yeah. He was a prolific 3.
If y'all want to talk about scoring styles, like people say that Julius Randle wanted to be like Melo. Bro, Adrian Dantley in that same spot on the floor is Carmelo Anthony, same move package.
Yeah.
Pump fake, jab step, rip through, pump fake, jab step. Adrian Dantley do something.
Smaller version.
Yeah.
Smaller version.
Yeah.
And Melo extended his game to the 3. But Dantley and them, they wasn't shooting threes and stuff like that back then.
No,
but look at how teams is making maneuvers at that time. In those years, the Knicks are like, where are we?
Yeah.
As an organization, which is same thing like today. Where are we?
Yeah, I'm gonna be right back. Yeah, I'll be.
Same thing as an organization, as I was saying. At that time, the Knicks make the trade for Bernard King for Michael Way Richardson. And then they have a glimmer of hope, but they never again match him with someone else on the team that could move the needle forward like these other teams. See, look at Detroit. When the Knicks beat Detroit in 84, Detroit's team was Lambeer. This is pre-Mahorn. They had a couple of cats that Vinnie Johnson was on that team. Kelly Tripucka was on that team. They had worthy NBA guys around Isaiah Thomas. They never stopped building. After they lost to the Knicks, they came back following year. They're adding pieces. They kept building pieces around Isaiah. One of the pieces, they trade for Dantley. They finally get to Eastern Conference Finals, lose to Boston or whatever, but Dantley helped them get there. Double down, Dantley and Isaiah are not working out well or whatever. Isaiah has a relationship with Mark Aguirre. Whoop. They jetson Dantley for Mark Aguirre. So look at that. Look at all of those moves that I just mentioned for Isaiah Thomas that the Knicks, in their history just didn't make those kind of like game-changing moves around Ewing. As the topic starts around, we were talking about Ewing for August. That's an organization. That's an organization that realizes its star has only but so many cracks at this in his prime years. We have to make the right complementary moves.
Right.
Again, Mark Aguirre was not drafted by Detroit.
Nope.
Bill Lambert was not drafted by Detroit.
Nope.
Adrian
James Edwards, Rick Mahorn.
Rick Mahorn, Dantley wasn't drafted. And I'm making these points as to say that you don't have to fall in love with your draft picks.
Right.
You just need the talent evaluator to identify pieces around the league that you need to help you win the championship. That's it. None of those great championship teams all had homegrown drafted guys.
Can I offer a counter to that? But it goes to your point.
Go ahead.
The Cleveland Cavaliers that we just spoke about drafted a whole bunch of dudes, homegrown talent, well-known names, and they won absolutely nothing. And they had a head coach that was a star in the league.
Yep.
Right. And Lenny Wilkins, who had won a championship in another city, that came to Cleveland, and they won nothing. So the pie in the sky thing, like, oh, you got to build through the draft. Man, that ain't true. You just got to accumulate talent.
And you gotta have people in there. Like I said, I want the guy or the girl, in the room that when everybody is saying, let's do Twin Towers, I want the people that are gonna say, nah, that's not sustainable.
Right.
We can't do it that way. I want the person in the room that's gonna say, when they're telling you, let's just shoot threes. Nah, that's not sustainable.
Right.
Steph Curry's a 1 in a million.
Yep.
See what I'm saying? That's where the success comes from. It's the people that you put in position that knows basketball, that understands that what it's gonna take. Look at that trade that we talked about. He gets McHale and Parrish for Joe Barry Carroll.
Right. Yo, John Dillinger is jealous of Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde are jealous of that robbery, bro.
If that's not a stick up, I don't know what is.
DB Sweeney is jealous of that stick up.
Yeah, that's not a stick up. I don't know what is.
Right.
When's the last time you had a Knick personnel guy that made a move even half that?
A stick up? Never. We never do stick ups, bro. I remember we thought the Antonio McDyess thing was a stick up, bro. Remember that? Oh, we just give it up this kid Nene in a first round pick.
When to be fair, Antonio McDyess at that time was averaging 22 points, whatever, and like 12 or 13 rebounds. He was an absolute monster out west. When I heard the trade this was when they had Frank Layden, one of our, people give Isaiah grief, but we forget about Layden. When I heard the trade, I was like, okay.
You was like, okay?
Yeah, I wasn't mad at it. I wasn't mad at it because Antonio McDyess was a monster. Antonio McDyess was 22 and like 11 or 12 per game. Easy.
Now I'm frustrated. Now my stomach hurting, bro.
I can't lie to you. How do you not? How are you not happy with that? If I tell you that, let's play hindsight, right? That Antonio McDyess does not get hurt, and he goes on to give you 22 and 12 for the next 5 to 7 years. Are you not happy with that? Of course you are.
No, it's not that, bro. It's not that. No, it's not that, man. It's the fact that everybody was getting a McDyess during that time, and we traded a prospect and a pick for one. I mean, you could grab a Sharif Abdul-Rahim from a team from Vancouver.
He wasn't as good as McDyess pre-injury.
I know, but what I'm saying is you could have gotten a LaFonso Ellis type power forward from anywhere around the league. 20 and 10.
You can't mention LaFonso Ellis and Antonio McDyess in the same sentence.
They 20 and 10, except one dude played in the high pace offense and stayed healthy. The other dude played in that same high impact offense.
He's not as good as Antonio McDyess.
20 and 10, LaFonso Ellis.
He's not as good as Antonio McDyess.
I'm just thinking during that time. Let me see what draft. That was the 2003 and 2002 NBA draft.
You can't blame them for that kind of player to go out and to reestablish. Remember, Ewing is gone.
Yep.
You know, you're about to let go Camby. You're about to let go Sprewell. Antonio McDyess at that time is a star. You know, or your hope is you want to play him and Houston together. That's what the thought was.
That's the hope.
You want to play him and Houston together, but he gets hurt on Monday. Houston gets hurt on Friday.
Yep. Pretty much. So okay. I'll tell you. Let me tell you how bad. I'm just gonna say this, and I know you're gonna be like, "But Joe, this is revisionist history." But let me do this first. Corey Lee, thank you for the generous contribution. Corey Lee says, "AD, I was sick. Period. It's the principle." And I'm with Corey Lee on this one. You know why? You know what? Hey, AD, you know why? Because when we picked Nene to go to Denver and trade him for McDyess, if we waited two more picks, we could have just drafted Amare Stoudemire.
Okay, now that's another argument. See, now that's a whole nother argument. And here's the thing with that. Nobody, and it's almost a shame to the NBA, nobody at that point in time was sold on taking Amare Stoudemire.
No, okay. All right.
He was like the biggest. Once we saw him on the floor, that first year with Stephon, we're like, oh my God, how did he last till what, 10, 11? Where did they pick him?
I just remember him going after. Let me research it. Let me research it. Let me see if I can find it.
But the point is,
so we take Nene at 7, Amari go at 9.
Right.
Oh God, dog it.
Yeah.
And Mom be trying to tell me, Uncle Freezy, we need to tank. Cat be like, yo, we need to tank, Uncle Freezy. For what? So we can take Nene instead of Amari? Come on, they're killing me, man. Oh my God, my stomach hurting, bro. Oh my God, bro. And listen, and it's not even about AD. It's not even about Amari, right? Because the Knicks wasn't on that high school train, right?
They weren't.
Right?
They weren't.
So Corey Lee, thank you for the generous contribution. Corey Lee says facts, bro. But the thing is, the Knicks were not on the high school train. Everybody was on that high school train except us, right?
Yeah.
And so if you didn't like Amari, right? If you didn't like Amari, you could have took at the 10 pick, you could have took Caron Butler out of UConn.
Yeah.
Right? You could have took Caron Butler, or if you didn't, and this is why I get so effing mad, right? If you didn't like any of those guys up top, you could have traded all the way back in the draft, all the way back, and drafted Tayshaun Prince, John Salmons, who both guys were decent players. You could have taken Carlos Boozer, right?
You definitely could have took Boozer.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. So every time we get into this thing, like, the Knicks, the Knicks didn't know at the time. Nah, man, you got to scout talent. You can't have a preference of what. That's what we're doing right now. We have a preference on where the talent is coming from. You can't have a preference where the talent come from. You just got to go get talent.
You got to go get talent. You got to go get talent, and there's just no substitute for it. And you can't worry about, trading some of your futures for talent already in your face. See what I'm saying? Like, what are you playing for? What are you building for? When are you supposed to have your moment in the sun? That's what with Knicks fans I don't understand with them when we hear rumors about trades for Donovan Mitchell or whatever, and we don't want to give up 5-6 picks or whatever. Do you know what the likelihood is that any one of those 6 picks are gonna be Donovan Mitchell?
Right. Or 3 of them equaling Donovan Mitchell?
Or 3 of them equaling Donovan Mitchell? See what I'm saying? It's like when do you go forward? You know what I mean? When do you absolutely say, you know what? No, enough is enough. No,
enough is enough.
Even if I'm wrong in the process, I'd rather to be wrong, being aggressive and taking an aggressive stance finally, and getting some pieces that you're trying to win.
Right.
And not worry about 2029.
I can't believe some of these names I'm looking at that the Knicks passed up, bro.
Yeah.
I can't. The Knicks.
This has always been there. This has always been, even in the Checkers years when you had sound management.
Right. Not always aggressive. Not always aggressive. But at least sound.
But sound management. Right. They would miss there as well.
Right.
And they'll tell you, well, it's hard to pick somebody when you're picking in the low 20s or whatever. But hey.
But when you're picking in the lower 20s, that means you're winning basketball games on a basketball game. Right.
But here's the thing. It's either you're gonna get them by the pick, get them by the trade, or get them by the free agent. You can't strike out on all 3 and then say, well, there's no other way to improve the roster.
You can't strike out on all 3 on an annual basis and then blame Pat Ewing because the franchise is not getting to higher heights.
Yeah. Every year you go in for the first, what? When did they hire Riley? 91.
Right.
So you're talking about the first 6 years you had success with Pitino. 2 out of the first 6 years you had success. 2 out of the first 6 years you were injured.
Right.
And the other 2 years were, one with Stu Jackson.
All right.
And the other one with the old coach from Phoenix. I can't remember his name at this time, but
Yeah.
and Bob Hill. This is the situation that you have. You're a superstar in.
Bob Hill botched the Spurs, bro. How you gonna botch the Spurs?
Yeah. So this is the what you do to your young superstar the first 6 years of his career.
Right.
They lucky that he re-signed with them because he wasn't going to re-sign with them.
Right.
In 91. He wasn't.
Right. Because he asked for a trade in 90.
Yeah.
He asked for a trade in 92. Right. And this is when the center wars were going on. This is when the center wars were going on. Like, who's the highest paid center? Right. And at this time, and people forget, at this time, where Pat Ewing was the best offensive center in the league, because it only happened once, where he was a better rebounder, better shooter, better defender, all three things in 1 year. This only happened 1 year, because there were years where Elijah Wan was a better rebounder, Robinson was a better defender, Pat Ewing was the better. Y'all get what I'm saying?
He had the 89-90 season.
Right. He was at the peak of his powers, right? At the peak. And the Knicks basically threw it away. Because I think that was Rick Pitino's first season, right?
No, that's his second season. Yeah.
The second season, okay.
All right. They throw it away, and we touched on this before because of the organization structure. You got a general manager and a coach. The general manager did not hire the coach. They were both hired by some upper level administrator in the Garden, right. And they can't coexist because Bianchi didn't like. Remember, the Knicks at that time, their bomb squad was averaging 7 threes per game. 7. Right. Bianchi did not like that style.
Right. He didn't think it was sustainable.
No. And this is how you have, if you the coach, I'm looking at you crazy because Bianchi found Johnny Newman on some free agent. He got cut by Cleveland or something like that. Some crazy loophole.
Right.
Snapped him up really quickly.
Yep.
Right? Newman is having immediate success.
Right.
He then hurts that acquisition by getting Vandeweghe. Pitino did not want Vandeweghe because Vandeweghe was hurt. If he didn't want Bernard King, why does he want Vandeweghe?
Right. A ball hall, scoring machine.
Yeah. And immediately Vandeweghe comes in, he's hurt, and Johnny Newman begins to pout.
Yep.
His numbers start to dip. Because before at that point, you have nothing but a young nucleus.
And you have Kenny Walker.
And you even have Kenny Walker as a part of that nucleus.
And you have Obi Toppin. I'm sorry. Kenny Walker, Obi Toppin, same thing in my mind.
If he's Kenny Walker, the organization made him that way. Don't ever forget that. They drafted him knowing full well that they had Julius Randle on the team.
Understood, boss. Understood.
That's where we are with that. But like we were saying, that's the Knicks. That's part of their overall why they can't win.
Right. I think the misstep Yeah, it's not the Kiki Vandeweghe, because they was gonna get a dude. They have been looking for a real small forward for years, right?
Yeah, but it didn't make any sense to get him,
Right.
because he was injury. It didn't make no sense to get him because he didn't play defense. He was past his prime,
Right.
and he was injury prone.
Right. Because the rumor was, and I don't know if people remember this or not either, but the rumor was the Knicks were at that point looking to get Reggie Theus. You remember Reggie Theus?
Yes.
The rumor was the Knicks were trying to get Reggie Theus. And if you're the Knicks, why would you go? The only reason in my mind they don't get Reggie Theus instead of Kiki Vandeweghe is because Kiki Vandeweghe was a could have been a third generation Knick, and it'd have been a great storyline for the papers.
Yeah, and he plays a style that Bianchi believed in. Yep. See, Bianchi thinks, well, he's getting. To me, if I got Ewing and I got Mark Jackson, I got the two most important parts of the snake. I got the tail and the head.
Right.
Why do I need pieces that's gonna slow me up?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like he's gonna slow me up just for the mere fact that Newman is young. He fits because he's young and he can run and he fits with that. And Jackson used to push the ball and Ewing would run.
Right.
Jerome Wilkins would run. Oakley would run.
Right.
You bring in Kiki Vandeweghe now, all of a sudden now you got to start doing more half-court Princeton style offense and backcourt set and this, that, and another thing, he doesn't rebound.
No.
Doesn't rebound his position.
And his defense for his era wasn't great. I think he had a defensive rating of 112.
Yeah.
And at the time, teams were scoring like what, 94 points a game?
Yeah. So if he wasn't lighting you up, and mind you, at one point in time, Kiki Vandeweghe was a prolific scorer in this league. Let's understand that.
Yep.
He was an absolute prolific scorer. What, with Alex English?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't remember the Dallas years. I do remember him being a scoring machine. Those ugly Denver, you remember the ugly, the Denver skyline years on the uniforms?
Yeah. They could score. They could absolutely score.
Yeah. Yeah.
The human English in them, they could flat out. A lot of things that's missing in today's game is the mid range. Oh, you talking about guys that can consistently pull up the pull-up jumper.
There's no such thing as a 16-footer anymore.
Nah. They abandoned it.
Yeah.
They would rather do a 16-foot floater versus a 16-foot pull-up jump shot.
Right. Right.
You ever watch how quickly does his floater from like 16 to 18 feet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the first time I seen him do it, I felt like, you remember that clip with Patrick Ewing asking his Georgetown player, did he practice that shot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, did you practice that shot?
Did you practice that shot? Or did you just throw that up? Yeah, man. So we got about 15 minutes to go, right? I want to ask you this. Is Patrick Ewing a top 10 center of all time?
Yes. It's easy.
I have to ask you to clarify why you would make that statement, sir. Is he better? So he's not top 3. Let's get that clear, because he's not better than Wilt. He's not better than Russell.
No.
Right? Everybody else, I think we could debate.
He's not Kareem. He's not Kareem.
So he's not top 3.
He's not Shaquille.
Oh, so he's not top 4.
He's not Olajuwon. All right. Now, after that, that's his slot. That's his slot. He's better than them. He's better than.
Nah, I don't. No, he's not more. He's not better than Moses Malone.
He's better than Moses.
No, come on, bro.
I'm gonna take him over.
He's league MVP.
You're right, but here's the thing.
He's an NBA champion.
Okay, all right. So I'll give Moses that slot.
Okay.
So that's 6. He's right there. He's right there. He's right there at 6.
All right. So if you gave that was a trick question, right? See, because if you give Moses that, you also have to give that to Olajuwon and David Robinson, who accomplished the same thing. No. Yes, bro. I'm good at this. AD, listen, I'm good at this, bro. The reason why I asked you, because if you give it to one,
I can't
give the other in order to be consistent. So if you can't give it to Olajuwon, and Robinson, then you can't give it to Moses Malone.
Then fine. I'm fine with that.
Oh no, man! What am I hearing?
Because I cannot, in good consciousness, tell Knick Nation that David Robinson was a better ball player than Patrick Ewing. You want to go Moses Malone? I respect.
Did Pat Ewing ever win a scoring title?
No, he did not.
Did he ever win Defensive Player of the Year?
No, he did not.
No, he did not. And so not only did Olajuwon and Robinson win scoring titles, win Defensive Player of the Year, win League MVP, they also won championships. He's
not a better ball player. He had a better look. When David Robinson finally won, understand this. The year David Robinson wins MVP, right? Go look at Ewing's numbers. Okay? I'm not even going to argue, right? They had a breakout season. They're rolling high. Bob Hill is the coach. Dennis Rodman is the power forward. They are.
That one year, Sean Elliott was in Detroit.
Right?
And, and after the season, they traded him right back. They were like, no, this ain't gonna work.
Yep. Right. Then in a about face, turn them right back. They are on their way. What happened when they get to the conference final against Olajuwon?
They get buzzsawed.
But David Robinson gets absolutely scraped.
He get cooked by Olajuwon.
He got absolutely cooked.
Yes.
Destroyed. Whatever verb, noun, adjective you want to use. Olajuwon gave him the business. Olajuwon never did that to you.
Okay.
Never did that to you.
All right.
Beat him in the finals, no doubt.
Right.
No doubt. Got the best of him in Game 7. But no way, no how.
Come on, man.
You know what I'm saying? Pat never played with Tim Duncan.
Right. And Pat never played with the prime Ralph Sampson. I get it.
He didn't. Pat, he, like I said, for as much stability as that.
Oh, that was the second round. That wasn't the conference round. They beat the Utah Jazz.
Right. Utah, even worse. They beat them in the second round.
Yeah, they beat them in the second round. Yeah.
They were projected. They were. I think San Antonio was the number 1 seed.
Or was it Seattle? I thought the Seattle Sonics were the number 1 seed.
Nah, not that year. San Antonio.
Yeah. Seattle was they were the number 1 seed. They lost to the 8 seed Denver Nuggets.
Was it that year? Was it that same year? What, San Antonio was what then?
94. We talking about 94, right?
So what, San Antonio was what then, 2?
Oh, I can't remember.
Something, but he was MVP, and Olajuwon absolutely took his lunch.
Just cooked him. Oh my God.
Cooked him. You know, I can't in good consciousness say David Robinson is better than Patrick. No. I cannot. Can't.
I saw Pat Ewing struggle against Rick Smits.
Yeah, but I also saw Pat against Rick Smits, Game 7 in the Garden, 22, 24, 7 and 5.
Okay. So I'm looking at the standings. I'm looking at the standings right now. The Spurs. No. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Give me just a second. Okay, so I'm looking at the standings right now. Yeah, the Seattle Sonics were 63 and 19 and lost to the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Houston was 58 and 24. San Antonio was 55 and 27. The Phoenix Suns were 56 and 26. The Golden State Warriors were 50 and 32. That conference had 6 50-game winners, bro.
Yeah.
6 of them.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
You know,
that conference was loaded, bro. So all right. I can't agree with you on the Pat is better than Olajuwon or David Robinson thing, bro.
No, he's not better than Olajuwon, but is he better than Robinson? Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I would say Pat is better than David Robinson by a fraction, right? But here's the thing. That golden age of centers is not the only age of centers that has ever existed, right? You know, and there were other great centers that played this game. There's a lot of great centers.
But your question was Pat a top 10? And if I got him at 6, I don't care who's 7, 8, 9, 10.
I don't have him at 6.
Wow. Okay. So where is he then?
I don't know. Because I don't want to be disrespectful to dudes.
You are disrespectful right now. I'm trying to think the guys' names who you could mention. Like
Bill Walton.
You can't. I heard that argument before, but you can't with Walton because Walton doesn't have the body of work. He got 2 championships, no doubt. But Walton only has like what, 4 good years with NBA.
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
And his second championship, he's not the lead dog. He's the 6th man.
Right.
On that second team. I mean, he does have 2 championships, so you can't belittle it. But he has 4 good years, maybe. Ewing has. That's not fair to Pat. I mean, it's an argument you could find if you wanna do that.
Right.
You know, See, here's the thing with championships, and we want one badly as Knicks fans.
We deserve one.
We deserve one. All of that. When great players like the players that like Ewing and Barkley and stuff like that, when they don't win a championship, there's no stain on them because they didn't do it.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Everybody can't win it. We for selfish reasons, of course, we want our team to win. Right. But Ewing is not a bum because he doesn't have a championship. Charles Barkley's not a bum because he doesn't have a championship.
I'm not saying that at all, bro. I'm not saying Pat Ewing's a bum. What I'm talking about is the top out of the guys, the best guys to ever do it. Does he rank somewhere between 6 and 12? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You gotta tell me the other 6 guys after Ewing that you think is better than Ewing
to make it a conversation, right?
You said Walton.
Yeah,
okay.
I like Walton. Does Pat Ewing have a better career than Alonzo Mourning?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
Pat Ewing has a better career than Alonzo Mourning?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You know Alonzo Mourning is 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time block champ, 7-time All-Star, 2-time All-Defensive Team.
That's fine.
On top of averaging 17 points. And wow, I thought Mourning was a better rebounder than that. So he had some down years. Okay, so I'm gonna call. Oh yeah, he had some down years, injuries. Okay, so I'm not gonna count his career after the kidney thing.
No,
because he wrote the Pine for a lot of years. But I'm looking at his numbers right. Oh my God. 21, 21, 21, 23, 19, 19, 20, 21, 13, 15. He was averaging 10, 10, 9, 10, 9, 9, 11, 9, 8, 8 rebounds a game.
Okay.
All right. So I'm put Mourning and Walton in the same category. Right?
You think Mourning is a better player than Ewing?
I think Mourning is a more accomplished player than Ewing.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
Yes.
Stop it.
I mean, how many championships does the dude have to win in order for you to give him credit?
Okay, as you said, you did everything. You stopped everything post kidney. So that means you took away the second championship.
Right.
That was post kidney.
No, that's taking away the first championship. He only won one. He won one at age 35, coming off the bench for the Miami Heat behind Shaquille O'Neal.
Right. Okay. All right. So you're taking away that championship.
Right.
Let's look at them head to head.
So just for the record, so if you do that, that means he's a defensive player 2 times in a 10-year stretch.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. No problem. No, I can point out years that Ewing had, the 3.9 blocks or 4.2 blocks or whatever, and then that, like some of those individual awards really and truly it's preference, but I'm not gonna go there.
Okay? Yeah. And so here's the thing too. Let's include the 1994 NBA Finals where he set the finals record for blocks per game.
I'm not gonna
stuffing Olajuwon at the rim.
Right. I'm not even gonna do that for you. I don't have to. Look at him against Mourning when their teams go head to head. If it's not for a fight between Charlie Ward and guys come off the bench or whatever,
I remember that, yeah.
Ewing's teams beats them 4-0. We beat them in Miami twice.
Yeah.
2000 semifinals. Ewing has the game-winning bucket over Mourning. Ewing on like a half a leg, still playing in year 16 or whatever.
Okay, all right. So while researching, I got you. The reason why, bro, listen. So check this out. I'm gonna just throw this in, just for argument's sake, right? Yo, the reason why it's crazy for Portland to take Sam Bowie, they were trying to do their own Twin Towers,
which made no sense.
That just dawned on me. You know who Portland center was at the time? The number 1 pick in the draft, Michael Thompson. You remember him?
Yeah. Which made What's his name?
Oh my God.
Which made no sense because they had Michael Thompson. Again, like I said,
That makes no sense.
It makes no sense for them to draft Bowie.
Oh my God.
You already have Michael Thompson.
Oh my God.
If nothing else, Clyde, you're the 3. Mike, you're the 2.
And you know what? And so the thing, so if you'd have told Clyde to play the 3, you would have had to punch. You had to beat Clyde Drexler up.
Okay.
You'd have physically had to. You had to threaten him with bodily harm. Right.
Okay. Are you trying to win a championship?
Clyde Drexler didn't. Man,
yeah. Are you trying to win a championship?
He didn't want to play the 3. They made him do that at Houston. Remember the dude didn't want to play the 3 at Houston?
No.
Just like Elijah Wan didn't want to play power forward.
No way. You have no choice. This is what we're doing. You have no choice. I would have never drafted that injury-prone dude with the number 2 overall pick.
Especially with Michael Thompson. So Michael Thompson. So for those that don't remember, Michael Thompson was a kind of finesse center. He wasn't really.
Was he number 1 in like 1977 draft or something like that?
I think it was the 80 draft. Let me see if I can find it. He was the number 1 pick in the 78 draft. Yeah.
Yeah, 70.
Oh, okay. Please don't ask me about the 78 draft, bro. Please don't, man. Please don't ask me about the 78 draft, bro. Because I got a window over here, bro. I swear. You remember who the Knicks took in the 78 draft, right?
That's Michael Richardson?
I think it was Bill Cartwright.
No, I think Cartwright is 79, I think.
Michael Ray Richardson, 79. I think, bro. Let me research it. Dang, why we always go over time?
It's one or the other.
Why do we always go over 2 hours? 2 hours fly by, right?
Yeah, it's 1 o'clock.
God, right, dog it.
That's NBA hoops conversation for you, sir.
Bro,
it's a journey. It's always a good journey.
Old school Knicks, bro. Old school Knicks is the only joint that I actually do when I'm not looking at the clock. Like, what are we talking about? Where's this conversation going? This is the only show. No lie, no disrespect to the other shows, but Old School Knicks is the only show that I get on, and I know exactly where we're going. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking at the clock like, God, dog it, we might not make it there before 2 hours.
And yet we did. Yeah, they did.
We got to have eventually I want to have this conversation with you, right? About the greatest guard in Knicks history.
Clyde Frazier.
I know what the easy answer is.
That's the only answer.
But would Clyde have been great if he didn't have great players around him?
Clyde would have been great. He would have been great either way because he played both sides of the ball.
Right. Would Clyde have been great? If you swap out Stephon Marbury and Clyde Frazier? Would Clyde Frazier be a Hall of Famer? If Clyde Frazier stepped into that place with Larry Brown, that Marbury stepped into, would Clyde have been great? Think about it though. Think about what I'm asking, because I think Clyde Frazier is a combination. If you took John Stockton and Gary Payton and mashed them together, it would be Clyde Frazier.
Okay, fine, but here's the thing, and that's really horrible that you mentioned Larry Brown in that, because
would he have been great under Larry Brown and Lenny Wilkins?
I think so.
How great though? How great are we talking?
I think he's a leader. He's one of those guys when the in New York City, when the lights are brightest, you can never take away from him when the lights were brightest. So if they were the coaches, Game 7 or whatever, and Clyde,
I saw Jerry West. I saw a YouTube thing. Jerry West just lit Clyde Frazier.
Yeah.
But then again though, you heard the name. I'm talking about lighting up Clyde Frazier, right? I'm not talking about a random guard. I'm talking about
You're talking about one of the greatest.
The logo.
The logo. But like I said, it's something about playing under these lights. Something about playing under these lights. You know what I mean? Like what name a more contentious relationship than Reggie Jackson and Billy Martin?
I understand where you're coming from. I understand, or Bill Parcells and Phil Simms. Yeah. I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I do. But let me ask you this: does Walt Frazier lead this Knicks team right now? What 25-year-old Clyde Frazier on this team, can he lead them to a NBA Finals?
No, he needs more pieces.
No, that's what I'm saying.
No, he needs more pieces. He played with Hall of
Fame guys. 5 Hall of Famers, right?
Hall of Fame guys. Did Larry Bird not play with Hall of Fame guys?
Yes.
Did Magic Johnson not play with Hall of Fame guys?
Michael Jordan. Also.
At the very end of the day,
Isaiah Thomas.
Right? At the very end of the day, their artistry, right, can be the art that it is because of the players that they're playing with, who are the canvas.
Right.
See what I'm saying? Right. If he was playing with me and you and whatever and lesser talent, he's not gonna look as good as if, Magic Johnson look away to Coop and Coop know what to do.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Koopaloop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He thought that to Rambis, what's gonna happen? The ball gonna go out of bounds.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So even great players need good supporting cast members to look great.
I understand what you're saying, and that's a great point. But listen, before we go and get out of here, right? I need some advice. So we're doing the all-time NBA draft again. So we do it every year. This will be the third year in a row.
Right.
Third year in a row. And so I need some advice. Do I go point guard early, right? Knowing that I can get, or do I go big man early, knowing that I can get point guards later? Or do I try to grab Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, and guys like that early? It's a 10-team draft, 10-team draft, 12 rounds, right? And we're going. The starting lineup is going to be guard, forward, center,
right.
So it's none of this. I'm putting Dr. J at power forward mess.
Right.
None of that. It's point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. None of this Kareem at power forward stuff. None of that stupid stuff. Right? Do you go with a center first, or do you go with point guards first?
I think I'm going with the best player. That's right. Who I think the best player is, not necessarily by position. See what I'm saying? Because let's say I'm 5, right? So if I'm 5, more than likely, Kobe's gonna be there, Bird is gonna be there, players like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like who I believe. You see what I'm saying? It's who I believe is better right there. Because more than likely, if I'm 5, one of those 2 players are gonna be right smack there.
Right.
Who am I taking?
At 5.
Yeah,
at 5,
those 2.
At 5, I think you got to take LeBron James if he's on the board.
LeBron is you know what? More than likely, LeBron shouldn't be there at number 5. But if he is,
you saying LeBron James is top 4 all time?
He's top 3.
Over who, sir?
He's top 3. He's top.
You would take LeBron over Wilt Chamberlain?
Let me think about. Hold on a second, because I used to make that argument as well. But he's top 5. He's top 5. He's somewhere in the top 3 to 5. I'm thinking about it. He's somewhere in the top 3 to 5.
Okay. So we're doing the all-time draft Tuesday night at 8:00. And what I would say to you, sir, if you want to tune in for pure comedy and entertainment, watch the young fellas in this draft take names like.
I remember them last year.
Yes,
I remember them. I remember some of the. Yeah, I think I came in and I tuned in and I was watching. I was like,
Dominique Wilkins in the 10th round.
Yeah, there was some really
questionable.
I remember them last year. I do remember. So I will tune in.
Steve Nash in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
You took Steve Nash over Dr. J.
Yeah. In the 2nd round.
In the 2nd round. And in the 2nd and 3rd rounds. I'm sorry, in the 3rd and 4th rounds of that draft. Because I took Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the 1st round. I took Magic Johnson in the 2nd round, Dr. J in the 3rd round, and George the Iceman Gervin in the 4th round.
You know what would be cool, Freezy, to add another like caveat to it, to figure out a way like in categories like the best team drafted.
We working on that.
Yeah, like if you did like most points, most efficiency, most rings, like if you got to.
We're gonna do it a different way, bro. What we're gonna do is take those teams and put them on a video game and simulate it, like these teams playing against each other.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be unfair in some positions because you got to remember something. The game, like all sport games, it evolves.
Right.
You know what I mean? A 250-pound lineman, offensive lineman from back in the 1950s is not stopping Aaron Donald today.
No.
You know what I mean? Because they're 250 pounds, that's your linebacker's weight.
Right.
Your offensive lineman, your defensive lineman, they've grown 3 generations since then out of that.
Right. But here's the thing though, AD. What if you can't hand check David Thompson or George Gervin? That's the other thing you got to think about. Like sure, they've evolved athletically, like genetically they've evolved. But what if you can't hand check George Gervin?
He's gonna go. He's gonna do what he's gonna do.
47 a night.
Absolutely, he's gonna do what he's gonna do offensively. The things where the game goes left for me is that the individual style of play, you don't see it encompassed in the overall game anymore. See what I'm saying? Like, you would have never seen you'd have never seen Magic Johnson coming down on a 3-on-1 and pull up at the 3.
Or kick it out to the corner 3.
He's not going to do that.
No.
Unless that was like the last split-second option.
Right.
He's gonna do something that's gonna make the crowd go, ooh.
Yeah.
Right? Something like that. The game now is the coach is telling you, kick it to the corner.
Yeah. Because that's an effective shot nowadays.
That's a 3.
Yeah. Uncontested 3 nowadays is better than a contested layup at the basket.
Yeah. Layup at the back. No, they'd rather stop and kick the 3.
Yep. So if you want to be entertained by this draft, man, so I got a couple big things this week going on. So the Front Stoop and Vibes and stuff are doing a 10-day collaboration. So that's gonna be big for me this week, right? And then you got New School Knicks. They just jumped off this week today by talking trash to the old timers. What it remind me of is you ever saw that movie Do the Right Thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
You remember how them young people used to talk trash to the mayor?
Yeah.
And without the mayor, you remember, without the mayor, they mess around. The young people mess around and burnt up Sal Pizzeria and started a riot, and a dude died. Right? You know how stuff. Once the mayor was out the picture,
at the very end of the day, that ended. Yo, I love that movie. The funniest, it's funny you say that because I understand especially New York at the time and the concept and whatever. But if someone could have just had a bit of a conversation at that time, right? Like Sal's would still be there.
Sal's would still be. Radio Raheem would be alive.
Radio Raheem would still be alive.
Mookie would be spending time with his kid.
Yeah, still working for Sal.
You're right.
30 years, 40 years later, still working for Sal.
The block wouldn't be gentrified.
The block wouldn't be gentrified. Well, gentrification was coming regardless.
It was okay. Yeah.
It was coming regardless. But you see what I'm saying? It's like sometimes, at any point in time in life, things can get out of control if you don't have a cool head sometimes.
Right.
And some things like it could get like really out of control.
Right. Think about all the stuff that could have happened that day, right? Think about all the stuff that could have happened that day. A little kid would have got hit by a car. Remember, the mayor saved that little boy's life, remember?
The mayor saved that little boy's life.
Yeah, all these things just for an old school cat just being around. All the old school dude wanted to do was just drink his beer and protect the block. But the new cats could, and the girl with the my God, bro.
It's kind of like, but all generations go through that where younger people, they seem to think that older people can't give him any lessons.
Right.
Can't say something because you judge a book by its cover because you've never walked a mile in those shoes. So you don't really know. You about to walk, you about to get it, you about to walk in some shit.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? But you ain't done that yet.
Yeah, but you ain't done that.
No.
Right.
Which is like, these new cats, you know what I mean? You didn't see Reggie Miller hit 6 points in less than 8 seconds.
Right.
That ruined your Sunday afternoon, ruined your snatched your
and all Starks had to do was hit one free throw.
One free throw.
Because he missed two.
Yes.
Right? All he had to do was hit the first one. The first one was just an unfortunate miss. You know what I'm saying?
Swang.
Right. But the second one, where everybody knew he had to hit it, you could see the choke all over Stark's face.
Yeah, you can see it.
Oh my God, bro!
It was that bad. So like you guys gotta live through some of that.
Yeah. Man.
And I don't. But see, here's the thing. Because y'all young, and I love y'all, and I want to see y'all grow. I don't want to see you go through that.
Right. Right.
Right. I don't want to see you, trading for Eddie Curry.
Right.
Just after you signed Jerome James the week before.
Oh God.
And you have the nerve, Isaiah, my guy, you had the nerve to have an explanation as to why.
Oh my God.
As to why you signed Jerome James only to turn around 2 weeks later and trade for Eddie Curry. As if you could play them both together.
As if you could play both of them together. As if they had a diversified skill set.
I guarantee you neither one of them was on the bench at the same time.
Right.
I'm gonna give you a quick joke. When they signed Jerome James that weekend, he was in New York. I think he was in New York for a couple of days. So that Sunday, I had gone to Sylvia's Soul Food restaurant up in Harlem for people who remember Sylvia's. I go into Sylvia's. I got like somewhere my seat is like maybe not too far in, right?
Right.
I look up. Guess who walks in?
Oh, God damn it. Don't you do
I
that.
see this. I see this large.
Come on, man. Don't. Please don't tell a fat boy story. Please don't tell a fat boy story.
I see this large shadow looming over my table coming in, right? It's Jerome James.
God, I knew you was gonna say that, bro.
And he was happy. I mean, he was real happy to be in New York, happy to be in town or whatever.
Oh my God.
I'm on a date. I can't lie, I'm on a date. And I'm not sitting too far. I'm sitting like maybe like 2 tables away. And I'm just interested as to what's going on at his table. Yo, they must have brought that dude like 6 entrees in 20 minutes, yo.
What?
Because I had been there for a minute. So I was basically about to leave in a few minutes. But I sat back, I stayed and watched. When I got up, it was him and another person. The man's entire table was covered with food.
Get out of here.
He had them big round tables. He had like 6 entrees. And like each entree has like 2 sides per entree.
Right, per entree, yeah.
Oh my God. And this was right. He signed the contract that Friday. This is Sunday afternoon. The man literally was putting on 30 pounds 2 days later.
Oh my God. Yo, you remember Luther Wright?
Oh, Luther Wright. Yeah. You remember what he looked like when he got to college? And
I remember what he looked like when he was a little boy. Come on, man. I'm from Jersey City. Come on.
He did. I remember this kid because I thought he was talented. He was like Eddie Curry. I thought he was talented.
Nah, he was super talented.
He was super talented. And one year,
wake up, talent. Just get out the bed, talented.
He lost like 50 pounds in one off season.
Yeah.
He chiseled up. He went from looking like a doughboy center to and by the next time you saw him, he was a completely different
Jahlil Okafor. Yep.
Yes, physical structure. He was totally different.
Yep.
No, he could have been a player in the league.
I don't know if the love was there. I don't know if the love of the game was there. And I don't want to question nobody's heart, but yeah.
The passion. Yeah.
Man. So we'll get out of here. We'll get out of here on that. Just wanted to, bro, we got so much stuff to talk about, man. This is one show that we digging in the crates. You know what I'm saying? There's so much stuff to talk about. The Clyde Frazier thing, though, could Clyde Frazier lead any other team of any Knicks generation to a championship? I gotta think about that.
Well, you think about it. You'll come back with the answer because you gotta want to play here. And everything we've ever learned about Clyde from the day they drafted him, he's always wanted to play here. He basically retired when they traded him to Cleveland.
Basically,
he played like 1 season with them, and that was it. I'm out.
Yo, and they trade. I never forget, man. I was in school, and my teacher, Mr. Williams, came in the classroom with an attitude. I was like, "Hey, Mr. Williams, can I cut the races?" And basically, he was like, "Shut the hell up, Uncle Freezer. Sit down. Do some work." I'm like, "What kind of work you want me to do, the teacher? You gotta tell me what to do." And then come to find out, him and all the other teachers is in the courtyard during class. We're like, why is y'all in the courtyard during class?
Sick to their stomach.
Sick to their outside smoking cigarettes, right? Smoking cigarettes, talking about why the Knicks traded Clyde Frazier for Jim Clemens. Now, mind you, my teacher, he wasn't 50 years old. My teacher was like, Mr. Williams was like 25, 26 years old. He was a young dude. So I go out there and I hear it and I'm just pouring down with sweat. I'm like, oh no. And yo, how in the world? It's like in my eyes, and yo, I'm gonna get out of here on this, but it's like if you a Bulls fan and you 10 years old and you finding out Michael Jordan was traded to the Vancouver Vancouver Grizzlies. Not the Memphis Grizzlies, the Vancouver Grizzlies. Because Cleveland wasn't nothing during this time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. But, yeah, man. Anyway, let me get out of here, do some stuff with the missus. Sir, again, it was a pleasure.
Salute. Knick Nation, salute.
Salute, y'all. Y'all be easy. We'll holler at y'all later. Peace, y'all.